Yay! Okay, I'm back. Stay Positive again. I have a really exciting interview for you guys. I know it's been a minute, and I say this every time, but I legitimately had good reason. For one, I had my car broken into and my laptop stolen. So I think luckily I have all my files backed up, or most of them. Lost some work here and there, but nothing podcast related. So thank the podcast gods for that. But yeah, so I got my laptop stolen. But a couple good things came out of it. I got to get a new laptop, which I needed to buy because that laptop, I got 7 meaty years out of it. So, it's more of a sentimental piece of machinery rather than, an expensive one. And I went to the Apple store to get a new laptop. And then what happened is the Apple store guy, he asked if I was a student, flattered, but I'm not. And so for the student discount. And then I was like, oh, no, I'm not, but, thank you. And then he was like, okay, just show me anything and I'll just show me any ID card and I'll give you the discount. So I got the discount. So yeah, I was really hot and sweaty and I felt like I was breaking the law, but we did it. So apologies to Steve Jobs, but I got my discount. I needed to re-download everything I need for podcast making, so it just took some extra time, but we're back, guys. I also started a new job, so I'm really happy because now I can make more money to put money into this podcast, but I also don't have as much time to record, so that's maybe why I'm thinking of starting to roll things out bi-weekly and just set your expectations. I know I was doing weekly for a while there, but bi-weekly might be more realistic given that I haven't been able to maintain the weekly aspect of Stay Positive. But moving on to today's interview, it is with a fun person I think everybody's going to love. You might already know who he is. He works on lots of awesome series and videos for Wong Fu Productions, which I've had the pleasure of working with him in them. And most recently, his kind of project that was his baby was Dating After College, which is the one that I got to co-write with him. And then he also directed, edited, and made the whole thing too. So anyway, this is writer, director, editor, Mr. Taylor Chan. Welcome to the podcast, Taylor Chan.
Hello.
I've been wanting to have you on for a hot minute, and I'm so happy that you made it out today.
Oh, yeah. I'm so honored to be a part of this.
No, it's just funny because I was like, yeah, Sunday. And then I was in an Uber and I thought I sent a bunch of texts because I was like, I'm getting stuff done. And then I guess I just didn't send them. So I had a lot of drafts.
Oh.
And then it was just two, but they both happened to be schedule-y type things. Yeah. So I didn't even schedule time. So thanks for following up. And now we're here.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's cool. I'm chill. I just block off the entire night for people sometimes,
Oh my God. What a champ.
Yeah.
But yeah, so do you wanna talk about who you are? Where you're coming from?
Yeah. My name is Taylor Chan. I work for a YouTube channel called Wong Fu Productions.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, never heard of it. It's just this niche channel on YouTube
that
makes scripted narrative stuff. Yeah, featuring Asian
Obviously
Americans.
An amazing staple of the Asian American entertainment world. Wait, I was just talking to somebody about Wong Fu, and she, this kind woman who works at Nickelodeon, and she remembers being in college, and they would gather and put it on the big projector every time it came out because it was so, meaningful to Asian Americans.
Yeah. I feel there's a lot of people like that. Even I feel like Phil even had screenings at his college when he would make a video. Mm-hmm. It's really cool to see the fans, the OG fans of Wong Fu kind of grow up and also take these positions at huge companies and
sure
and I think and Phil's had a lot of meetings with people at studios. They're oh yeah, I've heard of you guys, I watched you guys,
of course,
and now I'm having a meeting with you about what we could do together, so
that helps.
Full circle.
Yeah, that's kind of the case, I guess. It's just a lot of times people who work in entertainment are just fans anyway, you know what I mean? I mean, I feel that way sometimes. I'm just a fan, and then it's it's fun to make stuff too, right? But it's fun to be ooh, we're all in the same town.
Yeah.
Cool. But how about you? How did you get turned on to? Yeah, I don't know if I even know the story of you joining Wong Fu, but also of Taylor Chan, the man on his own out in the world.
Oh, it's a long story. It's not very interesting.
I believe it is.
But I grew up as a Wong Fu fan, and I've always had an interest in film, in high school and stuff. And I met Wong Fu, or I started working for Wong Fu right out of college.
Mm-hmm.
So they had like this internship, and they needed like help editing like their Wong Fu weekends and stuff like that. And I needed a job, and
Nice.
it's just so happened that their office was really close to where I'm from. So I was like, oh, this is perfect, and perfect for you, perfect for me. I have a car. Let's make it work. Um, but yes, and that's I started like in 2014, and that was right before their first movie, Everything Before Us.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, I've just been, rising, like rising up the ranks, I guess, writing and editing bigger things and getting more responsibility. Yeah, it's been really fun though. It's been kind of crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I see. Cool. So then, yeah, and then also it just matters that like, because it's not a huge group of people, so it matters that like you guys meshed
Oh
too.
yeah.
Obviously, what if you guys just hated each other?
I know it would have been insane. I don't know. Like they lucked out. That's why I keep telling them. Like you need me.
No, yes, no.
No. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the only
You
reason I
go
stuck
into-
around is because like for some reason one of my scripts I guess just fit their brand
Yeah.
and like did well enough and like yeah we Phil and I share a lot of sensibilities when it comes to like comedy and stuff, so it's just easy to kind of bounce ideas around and riff and come up with jokes and stuff, so it's been very natural.
Sounds great.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
always seems like you guys are the bestest of friends.
Nope,
just
no.
happen to also make really amazing stuff. You know what I mean? That's what it should be.
It's
I
all a
guess, right?
facade. We
Okay,
are
yeah.
not
You all
friends.
are enemies. I
We're just
understand.
siblings. We like bicker
Right.
and like
Yeah.
poke
Yeah,
fun.
basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, a wonderful place.
Mhm.
But that's cool. Okay, so then, and obviously we have so many connections in our lives.
Sierra and I have so many connections that we didn't know about until
Not
after the
really.
fact.
I guess,
Um,
yeah, I don't think so because we knew we were both in the same town. Shout out to La Cañada.
La
Which
Cañada.
I did mention to a friend last night, and who just moved out here. Really, he's not a native of Los Angeles necessarily, but he was like, "La Cañada, is that the same as Flint Ridge?" And I was like, "Wow, great question." It is, and like the fact that you know that deep cut is really fascinating.
Yeah, those La Cañada Flint Ridge kids go all around the world,
Yeah, we pass around the gospel of La Cañada and Flint Ridge being the same town.
That's crazy.
So yeah, anyway, but minor detail, but yeah, so we're both from the same town.
Yeah, and then
And-
our parents know each other.
Yeah, yes.
They grew up in the same
my
town.
madre, your padre, same town. Back
Alhambra?
in the day, Alhambra. Okay, yeah, that's what it was.
And then my
too far.
roommate is related to Sierra.
We are cousins, distant cousins, and that was the thing that I didn't find. And I kind of explained this to you before, but for all those really hardcore fans out there, of Stay Positive, no, it's all. It was like a friend, and I wonder if this is a thing. It's like Asian American families, a decent amount now, but go back 4 generations, maybe not so many.
Right.
So the way that I found out we were related to Aaron and the So's was like they just are like some distant, like maybe great uncle and great aunt married. So by marriage we're related. And in my head I'm like, oh well, it kind of makes sense, Chinese American family looking for other Chinese American family who's like somewhat been here, is here
Yeah,
currently. But before that we were just friends from Melissa and Alyssa, my older sister. His older sister were BFFs from kindergarten because they had similar names.
Yeah. Oh, just by similar names.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I mean, as a 5-year-old, 4-year-old child, you kind of don't have a lot to go off of, not a lot of
Taylor,
interests.
Tyler, Sierra,
Yeah.
Ciara.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
best friends with Ciara. No, I didn't have one. That's why I had no friends. It's sad, but no, it's good. I do remember Sarah's in elementary school being close with a Sarah because we were like,
Oh.
we're kind of the same person.
This is the surface level friendships that people had growing up.
Yeah, because you don't have a lot of hobbies or interests to go off of.
It's
at that
really
age.
true because I was friends with another Taylor. Yeah,
It's
best
important.
friends.
It's
And
important.
then a Tim, just because of the T.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's all really important stuff,
Yeah.
I think. Uh-huh.
Yeah, imagine if Wong Fu kind of based their hires off of that to this day. A lot of,
I mean, yeah. Ted Taylor.
Ted Taylor.
There you go. Wait, so what was Were you in Locking Out the whole damn time?
No, I mean, I was in LA the whole damn time.
Yeah.
I grew up in Glendale and we moved to La Cañada for the school district.
It's a great school district.
Great school
Is it?
district.
So yes, it is.
Yes.
It is still.
Well, it worked out for you. It didn't work out for me as well, you know.
What? Why are you saying that? You're crazy.
No, it was good. It was a good group of people. I went because I ended up going, you know, the community college route and then transferred to UC San Diego, which worked out.
Yeah,
worked out well.
That's a good way to go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I had some friends who did that for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think what's kind of funny looking back too is like there's still people who go to La Cañada like public schools, maybe elementary, middle school, but then like peel off and go to like fancier prep schools, I guess, for high school. I'm like, hang out.
Yeah, where are you going?
Yeah, where are you going?
Does it really matter? I want to see you at a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
5 years down the road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're all gonna be doing podcasts at the end of the day, so does it matter where we go? No. But
yeah, and then
beautiful.
Sierra and I just randomly like crossed paths because she started working with ISA.
Yes.
I saw you working with ISA and doing like the show.
Yeah.
And then also your comedy specials and stuff. And I was like, oh, this girl's funny. And then we started working together at events and stuff. And somehow found out that we had all these connections.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah,
of
I think
random.
like yeah, because I think I remember doing ISA, and then I think like Ashley Matsunami was like there one time when we were doing like one of the on the street bits.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Is that when she was there? Yeah, maybe.
She was.
Yeah. So then that was fun. I'm gonna pause for a second
Yeah.
and turn this off. I realize that's being really loud. All right.
So now
All right, we're back. It's all the same.
there was a dishwasher.
There was a dishwasher going, and I started it, so I brought it on us. I'm still learning.
Yeah, I was gonna say something, and then I was like, no, it's natural. It's natural.
It's ambiance, you know, at the end of the day. But I didn't think it was going to be quite as loud as it was. So now we fixed it, so it's going good. But okay, back to the fun. So yeah, that's how we met, and cool. But
Yeah.
you know, it's a small enough world where
Right.
sometimes you find out people are.
And it's also hard to like meet like genuine, talented, hardworking people that kind of like understand this YouTube culture too. So like when we started working with you, it was really cool to. You were so eager and like it was great to just collaborate with you as a writer. So like we started working with Sierra. Like,
I was honored.
Yeah, and then then we had this web series Dating After College in mind, and we brought Sierra on as another writer to collaborate on that web series.
Yeah, and that was a blast. So okay, yeah, let's go into
Do you
that.
wanna go into
then.
that?
Yeah, let's
Do you
go
have
into
more
that.
stuff before
no,
that?
I mean, I don't know. It was only, you know, it's kind of it's fluid. You know, you can always go back. I don't have anything particular because I just wanted to hear about like, you know, your start, stuff like that.
Oh.
But no, but like that's cool.
We could go back.
I mean, no, but we're here. We'll go back if we want to. But yeah, no, the Dating After College was like, well, a big honor to be brought on for like, because I think when I was first talking with you guys too, then you were also simultaneously like Yappy was yappening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The yappening was happening. Yeah, which was great. So then I think that was like just another, you know, it's like these levels of like, wow, you know, putting out a whole series, and it could kind of, you could totally see it as a TV show, and then they decided to take it into their own hands. And so big appreciation for just like, you guys make stuff.
Yeah.
You don't, you know, you don't have to wait around and wait for somebody to give you the green light, right? It's like very much,
it's a luxury.
It's very cool that you can do that. I mean, it takes a lot of hard work and like crazy hours, obviously, but it is, you know, refreshing and inspiring that you're not like, oh, I hope somebody comes by and says yes, you know, which is something that like a lot of us are struggling with. But yeah,
like Wong Fu definitely like being able to kind of curate an audience over the past like 15 years that like wants to see more stuff made by us. Kind of lights a fire under our butts to kind of continue making stuff, but also gives us security in terms of like, we know that there's an audience waiting after we make Yappy. I feel like there's a lot of like filmmakers out there that want to make stuff, or like, and they gather funds to make something, but they don't know necessarily if it's going to get distributed or like be screened somewhere. And like, so it's really, we're lucky in that sense that we took this risk on with Yappy and made this series that like is very different from our channel, and we knew that people were gonna still watch it. You know.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and people like loved it. Like I feel like too, it's like I mean, obviously it's always a risk, but you know, it worked out.
It definitely worked
Yeah,
out.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
it definitely like leveled up and gave us the confidence to make more series and stuff. Yeah. Yappy was this web series written by Phil and I. It's a social, like a lot of social commentary when involving like the Asian American community and the young Asian professional lifestyle that a lot of our generation relates to.
Yeah. Hence Yap.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the Yap of Yappy. But yeah, cool. And then I remember when you guys were talking at the like dating after college movie theater thing. It was sort of like that was like so this was kind of nice to be able to do a series again, and then also kind of going back dating after college being like more of the rom-com genre that was more familiar, but yeah, and so I was so honored to be included in that, which was super fun. And it was obviously like that was like one of the first that maybe you got to oversee the most.
Yeah, Day After College, like it was the biggest, longest project that I was at the helm of. Usually like Phil's involved or Wes is involved, but this is the next step in our evolution. Was like let's have someone else kind of direct this longer form series, and I stepped up to the plate. But I definitely like another part of our evolution was just trying to bring in new writers, which is also why we wanted to reach out to you, someone that we've already been talking to, like you said during Yappy, about like writing with us and like trying to find the best project to kind of collaborate on. You know. And this one was unique because we knew that we wanted to have a male and female protagonist, so like it'd be really beneficial to have a female voice in the room.
Yeah, so how fun.
Yeah.
Granted, the funny thing too being like a lot of what my experience was like, well, haven't dated in that capacity in quite a while, so this is what I imagine a female out in the wild would do.
That's fine. We'll just have fun with it.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, I mean, I hear enough from my single pals about their escapades. Oh my God, this happened the other night when we were out, and I could say this. I literally, so one of our friends, this cute guy who was like very tall. She's a tall gal too. I mean, everybody's tall to me, so I don't know. But he they met up in the club or a bar, but it was like, a little darker. And so then she like gave him his number. Oh, cute. Ooh, cute. And then we like move on. Right. Uh-huh. And then the next morning she wakes up 2 missed calls, like a long string of texts like, hey, where you at? Want to get food? Huh? You busy? What's up? Hey, did you get home safe? It was like,
oh
whoa.
My God.
And then he sent a selfie, like a bathroom selfie. Not fully clothed, totally fine, innocent, but like a bathroom selfie at like 8:46 a.m. the next morning. Like on a Saturday morning.
Jeez, that escalated quickly.
It went from
it'd be funny if
to
like
stalker.
That thread was just the whole arc of a relationship.
I mean, it basically was.
Oh my God!
It's over.
Hey, I just want to tell you about my family secrets, and then oh my God, I don't think this is gonna work out.
Yeah, sorry, man.
It's good meeting
I don't
you.
want anything.
Beyond
this. Yeah,
that's so
not
real.
looking into marriage at the moment, and then it ends. Yeah, it was definitely something that maybe would have made it into the show if it had happened earlier.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that guy. This is why you don't sleep in. There's a whole life.
I know. I literally woke up at noon. Very, very. I was just like, yeah, I slept in, and a whole. I was getting the updates from her, and it was quite hilarious.
Man, but think you know someone.
Yeah, so be careful. We definitely did not know him. At all, but you think that they might be normal,
right?
Or at least behave in a way that seems acceptable,
or at least to stop sending things if she's not responding after a while.
Yeah.
Wait it out.
You get it if maybe he was a little drunk, so kind of last night was like, oops, I sent one too many texts. Well, oops, R.I.P. But then the next morning he also sent the weird bathroom selfie, and you're like, then that's...
He didn't say oops. His like, I need to do more.
Yeah, he was like, gotta send this home.
Yeah.
We gotta bring this home.
You gotta stay in character.
Nice bathroom selfie.
Go out with a bang.
Stay in character. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So unfortunately, that was a no, but
Yeah, I mean, hard. Like I relate because like even when I was writing for the main character, I wouldn't say I have the most dating experience. It wasn't like I was going on all these. I don't have
for the best.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, it's like
I I think that's good.
Right. So a lot of it was just me imagining like scenarios that would be really fun to play out, you know, that I've always imagined in my head.
Nice.
But you know, not necessarily the most authentic things, but
Yeah, but
it's
you
fun.
know, we get a lot of that elsewhere too.
This
It's
isn't for
fun
that.
when
Yeah,
things-
if
yeah,
you
it's
want
fun when things
authenticity,
off
you
the
go
rails.
watch something else.
Yeah, go watch some documentaries on dating, which I assume exist. But yeah. So, what a fun thing though, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember. Well, let's see. So obviously, you guys also you had to direct it. You had to like edit it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just like nobody really does all that.
It's kind of crazy. I guess okay, let me that it's at a point where like I've taken on like more responsibility over time at Wong Fu that like it's almost just like expected that I'd edit, you know?
Yeah.
So
Come
like,
on, man.
But so once I take on a writing role, it's like, okay.
Right.
Oh,
Plus
you can
editing.
write. Okay. And then you'll also edit that one. And I was like,
I
okay, yeah,
see,
and
I see.
I want to do that as like a filmmaker. It's like that sounds fun. And then once you like
Right.
want to step up in directing, now you're writing, directing, and editing. And you didn't really realize you were taking on so much.
Yeah.
But it's really fun to kind of have your hand in every process, but it also comes at a cost for sure.
My firstborn child. I believe it. That sounds like pretty intense. But yeah, do you think you'd ever want to like? So yeah, because you're the main dude, obviously, when it comes to editing. Would you?
Right.
What would be your like scenario of being able to take some responsibility off? Would it be like passing the torch a little bit, or would it be like?
It would be
doing
passing the
something different?
torch. You're right. It'd be like trying to find someone to kind of take
Apprentice.
on editing.
Nice.
And then like
Your squire.
you know, yeah, exactly. Or and hopefully like if I want to continue editing, I'll just pick and choose, you know. If the opportunity presents itself, I can always do it.
You'll watch whoever you pick and be like, "This is trash." Rip it apart.
People are like, "This is amazing. You're so much better as an editor." I'll be like, "You're out of here,
Yeah,
buddy."
yeah, get out of here. Not acceptable. You
Yeah.
cannot surpass your master.
That's a good point, because like I always saw myself as an editor. Like even after college, I was like, you know what? I want to go into the film editing. That'll be my career. I'll end up editing commercials, and I'll be content. Or like editing.
And I will be happy.
I'll edit a YouTube. Yeah, and I'll be fine. I'll be no one. I'll be the invisible editor. That sounds delightful. And then
Yeah, in the dark
Wong Fu's
room.
like, hey, do you want to write stuff? And I'm like, I guess so.
This is quite a yeah. I believe that you know sometimes we're like yeah I want to be left alone
Yeah.
in this dark room. No, I mean, but yeah, I mean it is a pretty invisible job that can be so crucial. That is so crucial, and oftentimes the most crucial part, especially when it comes to comedy.
Yeah.
But then, you know, nobody knows
Right.
because everybody's just like, ooh, whose face is that?
Yeah.
I like that face. And then that's what I was. I feel like I didn't even know what a director did for a long time because I was
Yeah.
just like, I just like the faces and
You're
the
just
actors.
control people. You just tell people what to do.
Yeah. So amazing.
But like,
Wearing lots of hats, dude.
it's really cool. Like, it's been a learning experience to like lean into the writing role. I don't know if you feel the same, but like, because you obviously are a really great comedian, and then like, was that different than when you approached like trying to become a writer as well, or like?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I guess like with stand up, it's sort of just like if you want to do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Which you can do it. Which I know you thought about it, so you should do it.
Stand up.
It's always there. It'll always be there. But yeah, I think stand up it's nice in the same way that we're talking about, you know, you don't have to wait for somebody to say yes. Stand up, there's still certain levels, of course, that you have to get other people's approval. But when it comes to open mics, you know, it's very simple. You just do it. Writing, obviously, it's different because you have to kind of be either. You could always write on your own, I guess. But if you want somebody to see it or read it or something, it's different. You involve other people. But I mean, I guess you know what I feel like I was thinking about this today actually. Is like because in college I hung out with so many people who like wanted to be writers as well, like TV often. Not always, but a lot of whom were in the Lampoon at school, stuff like that, where there was this legacy of like, oh, well, if you do this, you can write, which isn't totally true, but like that sort of mentality is there and that entitlement is there. And then the fact that even was there, then at least I even thought that I had a chance to do it, even though it's like still a really crazy profession that
Right.
like doesn't normally exist, and you kind of have to
Yeah.
figure out how to weasel your way in. So it is kind of funny because I think it was just like, well, good thing I was around a lot of entitled people because then I became entitled to think that I could be a writer, but I really didn't have much precedent for it other than like the jokes, like the one-liners I write for stand-up or slightly longer jokes. But as far as writing like a script, that's a whole different ball game. I was not an English major, I don't know, or creative writing major or anything. So
that's always what I told myself too. Is like, as a writer, it's like I have no right to be a writer. Like I have no interest in writer.
Sure,
I like
no,
cringe at these essays.
You definitely do. No, you know, and again, it's like then you start to zoom out and you're like, well, then who does? And like, I guess if everybody's faking it, we can do that too.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But that's fun. What did you major in college?
I was a communication major. So that I was like, my plan was like, I'll try the film industry, but my backup plan is maybe to go into PR or like an ad agency, go that route. So I'm kind of glad that this YouTube thing is working out so far.
Totally.
It's been definitely giving me a lot of confidence as a creative moving forward. But yeah, like being a writer, like I'm still not even sure like where to lean. It's like, oh, like I got this opportunity to write and direct this web series during after college, but I don't necessarily know if that's my strength. Maybe is directing even a strength? I'm not even sure. Is editing? Maybe I should stick to what I know.
No, it's overrated.
Right.
If you like it, then sure, right? But then, just sticking to what... I mean, if we just stuck to what we know, we wouldn't do anything new.
Yeah.
We'd be little kindergartners just making friends with Tyler, you know?
Yeah.
We wouldn't make friends with JoJo. JoJo can only be friends with Joe. Anyway, so, that's cool. Because I also wonder about that, too. There's a lot of things like, oh, follow your passion. Well, what does that mean, right?
Yeah.
There's some TED Talk or something weird like that, but I'm a sucker for those.
Yeah.
They said follow your curiosity.
Yeah.
That's somewhere to go.
And you can have multiple curiosities.
You can.
Like for you, like as there's stand-up, and there's also like narrative writing, right? And like, do you have? I'm sure those are both your curiosity.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, I'd say it fluctuates, right? Because I think sometimes if you put more time to one thing, you kind of lose curiosity or interest in some other part of it, just because that's where your energy's been.
Right.
I definitely know. I don't know. And then it's also hard because sometimes we don't get the opportunity to try out the thing that we might like or not like.
Yeah.
Just because it's so hard to work for. It's like, oh, of course I'd love to find out if I like working for, a favorite show that I like watching, like Big Little. Oh, I wonder what it'd be like to write for a drama. But it's like the odds of writing for a drama. You have to be a great drama writer before you write for a drama. Right?
You're not in a position to choose right now.
Yeah, it's like, I wonder if I'd like writing for Meryl Streep. I don't know. I guess really have to try it out first, right?
People are listening to me too.
Obviously...
They're like, Taylor's like, oh, I don't know if I want to write or direct or edit.
right.
Wong Fu. I have all the three.
Yeah. I'll be like, shut the fuck up. No, that's great.
Cool.
That's true though, but. So I think there's a little bit of lack of data there. But, I mean, whatever. I think I definitely found that I like... Because I find it fun to, like, write for story and characters and stuff, too, on top of the jokes. So I think it would be hard for me just to be like, you're just a joke writer, so just write jokes for this joke machine.
Right. For, like, a talk show host or something.
Yeah. Which that's awesome, too, if you, like... obviously, I've also never done that before, too, so I can't say I wouldn't like it. But I think sometimes part of me is like, well, it hasn't worked out yet, so it probably isn't for me. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's sort of that, that ego to it, too. But, just I guess it always changes, and then you kind of deal with what you have in that moment or whatever.
Right. It is. Take things as they come and like, kind of see what things land and play out. But, it's so... Where should I go from here?
Decide now where you go in your career and in this conversation. But yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
Lots of, still all new too, I mean, some people don't figure it out for like, when they're deep in, they're like, oh yeah, actually I hate all this.
Right. Also, like, do you have a curiosity in acting? Yes.
Sure,
right?
yeah. So I guess, like, that's the other thing I've been trying to Okay, because the thing is, too, it's with stand-up. Everybody's like, oh, you do stand-up, so acting?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So then I really, that's like how I kind of got entrenched in a lot of stuff because I was like auditioning right away coming out here, and I knew nothing about acting and knew like nothing about how to audition, let alone that's like a whole different thing too. So I think I started to, just out of necessity of being like, wow, I'm really blowing all these auditions. I like started taking classes and stuff too.
Yeah.
So it helps, you know. But then, you know, you're in the same class as these poor folks who are like, what the fuck are you doing? Like they studied like theater and shit. Or like some girl in my acting class has like master's degrees, but you know, in like business and stuff too. I don't know. I looked it up. It's embarrassing, but I did go on her website. So
And
anyway,
they're still not talented, you know?
Oh, no,
we're-
she is her. No, that's the other thing. It's disheartening because some of these people are like huge in their respective countries, or like they do have a lot of on their resume, but it's just everybody's an actor in LA.
Yeah,
so
and I
what
feel
are you
like,
gonna
correct me if I'm wrong, but even just actors that are even like, they're doing well, they still just need, they still go to class just to keep their like
Sure.
skills sharp and
right, because
stuff.
you're not always gonna be working.
Yeah, like you
that's-
need feedback constantly, you know?
Yeah, so a lot of them, maybe they missed a week because they're like, oh, I was shooting in, I don't know, France. I don't know where people are. Where do people shoot movies?
Yeah.
Mostly Atlanta, Georgia. But not anymore because they don't like women there.
Oh, no.
Wah, wah. But yeah.
I was talking to my
so-
girlfriend. I was like saying, I want to meet my friend. He's from Atlanta. She's like, does he know Donald Glover? I'm like, no, not the show Atlanta.
Oh.
He's from Atlanta.
The city that show is named after.
It's almost, why is it
Did they name the
people in
city after the
LA's? Yeah, it's like people's instinct now to think Atlanta is being referred to
Right.
as the show.
Oh, I can see that for sure.
Great.
That's great. Well, you know, what a bummer he doesn't know Donald Glover. What if she was like, no, I know he's from Atlanta, the city, but like,
But
doesn't
doesn't-
everybody there know Donald Glover?
Because they shoot there, you know?
Yeah, right? Aren't you just like shaking hands
Right.
with Donald
That's what I
Glover?
bet. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent show. But yeah, no, I realized all of my references and like life experiences from watching TV.
Oh.
So if people are like, so I'm going, you know, like want advice on something or talking about something, I'm like, well, have you seen this TV show? Because maybe the answer's in there.
Yeah. I relate to that too. I reference Friends way too much, or like I pull like
Big
bits
Friends, yeah.
or punchlines or
Yeah.
gags like from Friends for some reason, or I realized later on that that was a Friends.
That was a Friends, but they already lived that in
Yeah.
Friends. No, that's a good place to go.
Yeah, and like as a filmmaker, like you have to catch yourself a lot because you're a better filmmaker or writer, I guess, or comedian if you are pulling from life experience, or even an editor. Like you're a better storyteller in general if you just have lived a fuller life. So like
course,
I feel
of
like people
course.
in film school or even growing up, I was like so stuck on just like watching media or like watching movies and stuff and
Right,
like
right.
basing everything off of like what has been consumed, but like it was kind of hurting me like in the long run, I guess, because wasn't necessarily like focused on who
Well,
I
don't
was
know what-
individually,
right,
you know.
right. I don't know. It's like, yeah, that's an interesting thing because I remember getting a lot of hearing that advice a lot. Was like, if you want to be a writer, like maybe go live life first and then come back and then write.
Yeah.
And I totally get that. I think part of me was like, what? But also, if you know, it's good. It's like valuable to be young out here. So there's
Yeah,
like
it's
that
like,
paradox. But
I could do both. Yeah.
I
you
can
can.
live life. But then the reality is, I'm like locked in my apartment, like tending to my succulent and like on my computer 24/7. So everybody,
That
so
sounds
I'm
like
not
a
living
great
life.
script, though.
Yeah, I mean, good. It's a good shut-in script.
Yeah.
A la, I don't know, Secret Window.
Mm-hmm.
No, but also, yeah, the fact that like, what are you supposed to do when you're in school too? Like, you're just living school. It's hard to live life. What are
Right.
you gonna do? Jet off and
Yeah.
find yourself?
You want me
in
to
the
go do
middle of
drugs
school?
or something? Yeah.
What do you want me to do? Drugs? Yeah, exactly. That's the whole temptation is just to get you to do drugs and then it's over.
Yeah. And then write about it. A lot of movies.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think yeah, I don't know. Are you like? Do you think you have anything that you feel as if? What does living life look like to you? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of it is like travel or like meeting people, having like conversations, you know, like, yeah, traveling, going to a foreign country, and then seeing someone and just having a great conversation with them, you know,
Yeah.
no
Right,
promise of
it's at a coffee
anything
shop or
after.
something.
Yeah, just like tell me about how you got
You meet
to
them on
this
the
coffee
train.
shop, you know.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, just life experience too. Like I feel like even being in this industry, like it's hard to write about other walks of life, right?
Sure.
And I feel like it always benefits you to like kind of have a better understanding of, other perspectives.
Yeah, like when people do, it's always so like, wow, you know, and it's like, oh, you mean the rest of the world, like, you know, versus all the movies that are about like actors struggling.
Right.
Yeah.
Another, like, I guess this kind of relates to writing for Wong Fu because like, Wong Fu is very much like an Asian American perspective, and a lot of our stories are kind of catered to that Asian American audience. And for one, have a very unique perspective on Asian American upbringing because I'm like a fourth generation Asian American. Oops, there's static. So, very untraditional. So, like, I don't even speak Cantonese. My family's Cantonese.
Well, yeah,
right?
You said you're fourth.
Yeah.
So that means your great grandparents came over?
Yeah.
Same.
Right. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the content that, like, would be good to make for Wong Fu, like, I feel like would be to play into an upbringing that's more universal for our community.
Okay.
You know, like tiger parents or like at least like even my relationship with my grandparents is very unconventional. Like they speak English and I have like I can have like good conversations versus like there's a lot of people that relate to like being able to have a strong connection to their grandparents and not knowing their story and always wanting to like that divide is very prominent. So I don't necessarily know how to write that story. But
sure, like, yeah. No, I totally... Because especially, like, the fact that... What was I going to say? I guess the fact that, like, okay, so even then, like, zooming out into just general Asian American stories that are available to us in the mainstream, which is, you know, even less representative than Wong Fu, because, you know, Wong Fu's great. Everybody else is catching up. Yeah,
you can trash on Wong Fu. You don't have. This doesn't have to be a safe place.
We're gonna do that in the second phase. Get ready. No, but
skip to this time code.
Yeah. Skip ahead for the dirty deets. But yeah, no, I think that, like, even then there's this crazy thing where like you talk to, I mean, mainly non-Asian people, but I'm so used to like going in there and them assuming something of me and me being like, almost not even correcting them sometimes. Because it's sort of like, because they'll be like, oh, but of course you would be great for this because it's like the one Chinese American show. And it's like, well, yeah, I would be great for it than that white guy standing out there. But I wouldn't be great for, I'm not the perfect person for it. Yeah. So you have that conflict of being like, I mean, yes, I'm positioned perfectly for this because it is Chinese American. But again, I'm only half, and I'm also like a weird one where it's like, you know, fourth generation.
Should I explain this to you right now?
And like, but yes, actually, it's placed in like the exact neighborhood where I grew up. But then like, also, I mean, I can't really say all these other distinctions because then you might lose confidence in me, and then hire that fucking totally offbeat person. Well, I mean, I feel like I have friends who like are definitely not right for certain things, but they go in being like, well, I'm a writer, so I can write about anything. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And most of them are white guys.
Oh, no.
But you know, I think there is some sort of, you know, difference of, I think if you are a writer who gets the benefit of the being default, like a white in race and maybe straight and maybe guy, you know, I think there's less of a stress on your identity. So it's more about like, well, if you're just funny and like merit-wise, you did all the work, buddy. So come on in, you know. Yeah. Versus I think we kind of feel that pressure of like, oh, well, I don't know because I didn't live the life of the person who I'm writing for. So how do I, you know, it's like it's so silly, but you know, because oftentimes the reason I'm in the room in the first place is because of that. So we can see why we feel obligated to like honor.
Right. Yeah. We should get to the point where we don't have to. That's just not like a requirement, or we feel that that's the only way in. Like, we checked all the boxes leading up, and we are writers, and we can adapt as well. Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have that perspective in our authentic, you know.
Surprise.
We're the best people to write that story. Yeah.
Right. And I think it's like there's at least now more and more stories that are happening. Yeah. But you know, it's all gonna be fine. Yeah. But interesting. Yeah, the lived experience. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, but that's cool. I mean, yeah, I got the one grandparent left. Mm-hmm. Lots of conversations because she speaks English, and I know that would like blow some people's minds up. The fact that like an elderly Asian person could speak English.
Right. And then I think the other thing about being multi-generational Asian American is that your grandparents can understand and consume the things that you're doing, you know?
Sure,
So
yeah,
like
they
have
understand.
your grandpa?
Oh, grandma. Yeah.
Grandma? Has she seen your stand up?
She came to one show. It was like I'm so happy it happened. She's old now, so she couldn't do it now, but yeah, she has. And I think she didn't, I think for sure, like, well, the irony being actually my grandfather, who died when I was 10, so a little before I started stand up, but like he he had such a sense of humor. And she does too, like naturally but I think she was like always, there was like a joke of like sometimes she didn't have the same sense of humor as him, so it was kind of like maybe that just wasn't her style. So I don't know if she does it, if she gets it, or if it's like, maybe just like not for her. But I think she could understand it, so I don't know. I also probably don't give her enough credit because I'm assuming she's just like too old to get it, but it's like she probably does get it, and it's like not funny, Sierra.
Oh no. Yeah, she said no. I think that's that. But like, do you?
But yeah, that's a whole level.
Were you ever
like
worried about like when she saw your one performance?
Oh,
were you worried about it?
Not really, because she's just such a sweetheart that like there's no. I don't know. I never felt that way specifically.
Was that like the early stand-up years for Sierra? So like, has your content changed? Was that like less explicit?
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, I probably kept it pretty G.
Oh yeah, G for grandma.
I keep G for grandma. This one's rated G for you, grandma. This one's for you, grandma. No, for sure. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, she did, and that's such a luxury. It's so sweet,
Yeah.
Now she's got little great grandbabies because my cousins had little babies.
Oh.
And get this, my cousins' my cousins' kids are growing up learning Mandarin and English because her husband can still speak Mandarin. And these kids know more languages than me and are way smarter than me already. And they're like 8 months old.
Yeah. But can they write a good script?
But yeah, it's like, oh my God, it's like coming back around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we all lost that. And now it's so sad because I wish I knew it. But
I'm so jealous of that too.
But how would I ever teach my own children that?
You gotta marry someone.
Get a nanny.
Yeah, nanny.
Exactly. You gotta put them in the schools right away.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
But yeah, how valuable.
But my grandparents watch Wong Fu every once in a while. My parents do too. It's always a little weird. It's always weird when they like you see them at a family function. They're like, "Oh hey, I saw the report card, right?" I'm like, "Oh, what did you think about it?" And like I almost don't want to know.
Great. They get like a quick review and.
Right. It's like this wasn't for you. I don't know if you are gonna like it. But like I think it's cool that they're just excited to see their grandkids on like a screen or like in the credits or something.
That's a big deal.
So it's cool.
No, that's cool. That's true that they're able to even like see what you're putting out is obviously pretty rare that somebody would be able to appreciate it at that level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Do your parents get involved? Like, do they give you any?
Yeah, my parents actually are like really, they love film.
Cool.
So like we go to film festivals together and stuff.
Wow, that's like pretty.
Yeah. It's pretty. That's even more unconventional. To be like, oh, I saw Moonlight with my mom. Like that. Like, your Chinese mom saw Moonlight.
Wow.
Yeah.
She really knows the hip media, cinema.
Yeah. So it's
that's big.
So like it is interesting to hear their feedback on Wong Fu videos that are, like our like sketch form or like our shorter narratives and stuff. But they're really supportive. It's really cool to like a lot of the stuff. It's actually kind of cool when like we do touch on like Asian American identity and stuff, and like they watch it, because oftentimes I've never heard their perspective growing up as like an Asian American in California, or like their love lives, and sometimes like a short would actually reveal that. You'd be like, oh, I related to that one.
Yeah.
Like,
Back
why?
in the day, your dad was a real.
I was like, whoa, don't tell me. So, That's been really cool.
Oh wow, what a fun! That's like a great way to open the conversation. That rarely would happen.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, I need to keep making videos so that I can have more conversations with my parents.
Name all the characters after your parents. Oh yeah, I forgot your name is that. That's great. I love it.
I'm gonna write this movie called Inheritance. And,
where we get an exact number. Jesus. Perfect.
Just kidding, Mom, if you're listening.
Yeah. Hello, Taylor's mom.
Yeah.
Make sure to sweeten up that deal, you know. I see. Yeah, that's cool. That is an interesting thing because I feel like for so long I just assumed that the Asian parent thing was kind of just gonna be universal in the sense of like, you know, we still have such a distinction between, and let me know what's happening in your household.
Okay, sure.
But I guess like me and my sister always joke about the fact that it's like parents are parents and kids are kids and like we're just kids and we like run around and you know I still like feel like a kid and that's what a luxury too. But I think the contrast being like I know some white friends that'll be like they'll go home and like the minute they turn 18 they're like drinking beer with their dad. I'm honestly like we're getting there. But I've definitely had wine around my parents before that they provided. Thank you. You know what I mean? But like that was definitely something that I thought would never happen. But maybe in their older years, they're like loosening up. They're like, "Ooh, look at these white parents drinking beer with their kids."
Yeah.
What's that like? No, but yeah. So
what's that divide with for me? Like we definitely. It was a gradual process. I think it starts with family functions or like weddings where there's an open bar and it's like, Taylor, do you want a drink after I'm 21,
sure,
of course?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, Dad. And like we'll drink at a wedding together. And then it'll be like, oh, Thanksgiving, there's beers. Let's drink those beers together. But and then at restaurants, you know, if they get wine, it's like, okay, I guess I'll get wine too. Like
pull my leg. Yeah. I wondered too, but it doesn't even have to be alcohol related. But I just mean like the.
Oh,
you know, like
that was all alcohol, by the way.
I was just like
I interpreted that.
No, that was an example of like, you know, being on like a level at which your parents see you as an adult. I guess that's like.
I think they still check in to make sure like, I feel like at this point it's about financial.
Sure. Yeah.
Independence and like they're like, are you doing everything, like have a like retirement plan and stuff. They're trying to like they're checking all the boxes to finally like
no, that's good.
separate me as an adult. But it's been cool to see the conversation change and the relationship change as they have begun to see me as an adult. Mm-hmm. Like once I moved out, it was like a big step where like they didn't see me as a child as much anymore.
Sure, yeah.
And or like knowing that I have a full-time job and stuff like that. Like they're like, okay, check.
Yeah,
it's a big check.
No, that's huge. Is they know they don't have to like, worry about you as much. Uh-huh.
Yeah, or even like relationship. It's like, oh, you're in a relationship. You're worthy of love. Yes, someone can love you.
Worthy of love, who's not related to you. Great.
Okay. I guess I don't have to worry about that one as much.
Yeah, that's big. That's big. Uh-huh.
So, but there's still like little instances where I feel like they still see me as their like child.
Little boy. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I know, like, yeah, even I was thinking about the fact that, oh man, when I think sometimes I put the pressure on myself even, and it's like when I wanted to tell them to move out, I think when I was telling them I was moving out, I think I was like pre-stressed so hard that I was like at the brink of tears for no reason.
Oh, it was like you're
and
like,
they were
I'm
like,
moving out.
this is fine. They were like, oh yeah, we thought that would probably happen. Because I was already spending so much time like living with Dylan and like, I think they're like, yeah, I guess it makes sense. I think you know, definitely moving in with a significant other engagement or marriage or whatever was like sort of a, try not to do this.
Yeah.
And then we grew up in rents really fucking high.
Yeah.
And then you know, it just made the most sense.
We're not moving in together. We're just roommates.
Yeah, exactly. Separate rooms.
Yeah.
Don't come by. Yeah, exactly. So that was like maybe something I put on myself. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know why I brought that up. Oh, I know too. Also, when like my friends in high school who weren't Asian, but you know maybe they could have been, and it would have been, you know, did family to family. I'm not trying to break down the racial thing too hard, but I think even them they would like talk about like talking with their moms about boys.
Yeah.
Like like even like penis size. I was like, oh my god, I would never talk to my mom about that. That's psychotic.
Never go that deep.
Yeah.
Literally.
Good one.
Yeah, I don't talk to my parents about like sex or
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
or like
I
even
think
like
that's normal.
right.
So, and it would probably mainly be like if it's like with the same
Yeah.
sex parent, maybe, you know, I don't know.
Like yeah.
So that was shocking to me.
They don't even know. I feel like they're reluctant to even ask. You know.
Yeah.
I
Did
haven't
they give
really.
you the sex talk?
I
That's also
didn't
Asian
get a.
parents don't do.
I didn't get the sex talk.
Yeah, I didn't really either, but
think
I knew I knew everything.
It was more
already. No, I'm
like
just kidding.
maybe a scene came up on TV that was sex, and I was like, "Don't do that," you know. Or
Oh yeah, that's real
like,
helpful.
this isn't for you. You're not supposed to watch this.
Oh right.
Close
Just
your eyes.
so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just so they put out there, and then if it happens, they're like, "Hey, my hands are clean." We
Right.
told them that's not for you.
It's also like school. I don't know about you. Knocking out at like they had that like period where they
Oh yeah.
get the
Health-
sex.
Yeah. So at least they had that.
Yeah. So I think like I came home and my parents were like, "Did they show you those videos?" And I was like, "Yes, like good." So it's like they leave it at
They're
that,
like,
you
our
know.
tax dollars at work.
It's not like I'm not here to elaborate on those things.
Right,
That's
no,
their
that's so
job.
funny. Oh my god.
But,
Yeah, and that's good. At least they did that because I know some schools are just like, and we don't talk about it because everybody's gonna die in childbirth at a young age. No, yeah, that's true. We were lucky in that sense. Yeah, it's crazy. Parents, you know, parenting. Would you ever have kids?
I hope so. I hope so. I think like the biggest question mark is like being in this industry and having this career. Like,
Are
at
you
what
supposed
point?
to hire the Chinese nanny?
Yeah. Or at what point am I like? Will I feel ready to have a kid?
Right.
Like I feel like I guess in my head I'd hope to be able to provide a certain lifestyle for the child, and also be there enough, you know, where it doesn't sacrifice a certain career ambitions,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
So I think that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, that sounds very responsible.
And I feel like it's kind of, I also feel like I'm lucky to be in a position where I'm like, I can just have time to figure it out. Because like, I understand that as a man, that's a luxury.
Oh, okay, yeah. Versus like, if you want to like really spit them out biologically. That's what that's how
Spit them out.
talk about.
Puh.
Yeah,
That'd be a luxury as well.
Yeah, I know. That's that technology I need. But yeah, for sure, it's there's always that biological pressure on the ladies. But
Right.
whatever. Things are getting later and later. I'm sure it'll be fine. My mom had me when she was 37, so I always think like, I can wait till I'm 37.
Yeah.
But it was
You're
her
the
second
youngest.
kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so technically that makes it a little trickier to just pop one out at 37. Just if anybody wants the real scientific angle. But yeah, so you know, we got time.
Yeah.
There's not too much pressure. I know, like, also, it was so funny because I think when I was doing, like, I was trying to be pregnant in this, like, because I taken this acting class, and so I put a wig under my shirt, and it looked pretty good, and they're like, oh, so do you think you'll have kids? Because it's, like, also, you know, when you're being in character, they're like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, yeah, but, you know, I'm trying to think about some financial stuff, and they're like, well, you would carry it well. It's like, what does that mean? No, but then he went on to explain that, like, he thought his wife was pregnant at some point. They were stressed about it. And then, you know, and it was, like, fine because he already has a kid, so it would have been fine. But they're just like, oh, okay, we were planning for this. They finally got, went to the doctor, and she was not pregnant. And he was like, I felt like I just won $1 million. So you're just like, wow, all this money that I thought I was going to have to spend.
Got it back.
I mean, I always think about when I go on vacation or something, and it's like, oh, it would be like twice the amount of money to feed, but like they're not making you any money. You know, at least if you like are married to somebody or you're with a partner, it's like at least they're also have income, so it's like we're all holding up our end of the bargain here.
Yeah.
Kids, they don't pull no weight, you know.
Yeah. You make me smile is what you make me. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's hopeful,
My
but
mom
also
would say that. You
cry.
brought joy, though. Like, Mom, you sound like you really hated it. No, I'm kidding. You brought joy. Priceless. Yeah, what a fun question. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, okay, getting away from all that silly planning stuff. Live in the
Right,
moment.
right.
Am I
Live in the moment, huh?
Live in the moment. What's your what's your life like these days?
What's
You
my life like?
You
It's been
enjoying the LA life?
Yeah, LA's been it's been fun. I feel like I'm living in close to downtown LA. Still going out every once in a while with some
Yeah,
friends,
yeah.
with the
Hitting
lady.
up Wolf and Crane,
Yeah, that's one of them.
one of the faves.
Um,
Yeah.
you know,
I haven't been there in a while.
eating whatever I want. You know,
Nice. Yeah, I do that.
it's been good. I think it really is about like the next thing on my mind. It really is about like life goals or career goals and like
Yeah.
next step stuff. But it's yeah, I feel like I'm in the stage where like I'm like that LA, just like one of those LA creatives that's like focus on their script.
Yeah, no, and
This
like,
is my day
that's
job,
great.
and I'm just gonna
This is
be
the
like
time to
writing
do
that script on the side, and hopefully try to make things fall into place for it.
Cool. Do you have like an idea of like what balance is like? I don't know.
Work-life
People,
balance?
yeah, like what does that even mean at this point?
Yeah, I think everyone has a different like definition of that too, and it's different for everyone. I think because I feel like as like as a filmmaker, or I guess as a YouTuber even, it is gonna consume a lot more of your life, and I feel like finding the balance is more about finding a place where you feel, I guess, you feel comfortable, like where like you're still, we're both. I don't think it's like half, like 50-50. I think it's like you finding like the right
Right.
line
That works for you.
works for you individually. So like I don't think I found it yet. Like I mean, I feel like I got comfortable just with the idea that Wong Fu was even able to give us weekends, like
Wong Fu weekends.
Wong Fu, yeah, like we don't have to work on the weekend, like, and it's we have like our 9 to 5, during the week, and and that's a very like stable lifestyle and very
Cool. Yeah.
and then that's really nice. But I feel like that's not even a norm for like people in this industry. Like, people, I should be, or us at the company are pressured to kind of utilize that extra time to like focus on building their career or like finding that next step. Yeah. So like you doing this podcast on your side,
Oh
right?
yeah, well
like,
you're on this podcast
or like,
too on the weekend. Yeah, no,
or
but
like
yeah.
me like writing. I should be writing the next thing, or on the weekend, or at least putting extra energy into polishing something that I'm working on. Right?
Yeah, I see what you mean. But yeah, I worry about that a lot because it is so easy to fall into that. Like, I mean, well, if there's more hours, then you can work in those hours.
Yeah.
We don't have to do anything else. Yeah, and then I do like, I do realize that I'm rarely like actually working for something like a job. At least if you have a job, it's like that's crazy that you're already doing those hours. Because even I think like when I don't have a job, of course I'm in like most of my day is just what do I do? Like, trying to find things to do. Versus then like the very small parts of the year where I'm like actually employed on like a time card or whatever.
Yeah.
Then of course they like exploit you extremely because it's like I guess if I'm only going to be working this month, like I gotta work every day. I gotta work 17 hours. And then I mean like the crazy thing too, of course, when you're in production, then that's a whole different story too, right? Because then you guys have to like capitalize on everything and making sure the schedule works out. So that's I guess psychotic.
Yeah. It's so yeah. When we were in production, like when we were dating after college, that took over. It was weird finally finishing that, and releasing it, because like that took over my life for like at least 6 months, I'd say.
Right.
Like from the writing with you and like even just production, like pre-pro,
Yeah.
after having the scripts done was kind of intense.
I'm sure.
Production was like a good month and a half, like spread across a month and a half, and then like post was a long time too. So like, I didn't even let myself have free time, or like if I did have free time, I knew that it was best utilized to like make something better.
Sure, you're like something's wrong.
Yeah, something's wrong, or like
Free
if I don't do that now, then I won't ever get done. So so coming off that was like whoa, like I have so much free time that I didn't realize I was kind of taking up with dating after college.
Sure.
So I had terrible work-life balance during that.
Yeah.
It's more like, and it's like in my head, it's like if I want to continue making movies or like making content like that, like in the foreseeable future, I feel like I'll be like, it'll be very similar. I'll just be like consumed by it. And what cost would that be? You know.
Oh, at what cost?
At what cost?
Scary. But yeah, no, I agree that like it is sort of well, at least the way somebody had described it to me was like feast or famine. So it's like you're either like literally going hard, like not seeing anybody else because you're just fully engaged, or it's like, you know, okay, well, what's the next thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I think everybody, well, not everybody, but at least I would much prefer like a more normalized schedule, but. You know, since that's not really the nature of stuff. I mean, there are certain lucky, you know, pockets of areas where you can make that work too. And I think, you know, obviously the higher up you get, like probably the more hours you can call. But yeah, I guess it's, I mean, at least while you're hungry, you know what I mean? While you're like, I can stay up. I don't have a kid.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with, you know, something crazy happening in the backyard. I don't know. Is that a thing people do? When they get older?
If you have a backyard.
Yeah, if you have a backyard. Then you can, you know, go to town.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is always a little scary to me too, because I'm like, well, when does it end?
Yeah. And like.
Or does it not end?
And like, even like work-life balance, like when it comes to, like my girlfriend just, we just became like long distance, right, for a month. So like, even that kind of revealed like time that I was allocating towards her.
Relationship, yeah.
Yeah, that like. Suddenly is kind of cleared up now that we don't see each other
sure,
that much.
Yeah, I believe it.
Not that it's like better. It's more that it was like, whoa, like,
where did that go? Yeah.
I don't know what to do with myself anymore. You know, like
Totally.
It's like I guess I should take care of my health.
Should we invest in vitamins?
Should I think about walking more? You know,
we just find you in like Kentucky. Yeah. I walked all the way here
for health.
For health. Oh yeah.
It's like, and then it's in my head, it's like, man, like I haven't been thinking about a lot of things that I would be during production. Like, fitness isn't like a priority when I'm thinking about dating after college. Getting those.
No, of course not. I mean, it's not a priority.
And
at any point for me, unfortunately, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Well, yeah, because like, one thing that I didn't even do. It was like a homework assignment again for this class that I was acting class. Because their whole thing is like, ooh, you know, to be a good actor, your whole life has to be kind of in touch. And it's like also good, just like a creative class or whatever. So as icky as I hate saying, oh, I'm taking an acting class, it's like, it's pretty helpful. But they had us fill out this thing that was like an hour by hour, what do you do with your day?
Yeah.
I didn't do it because I don't do fucking homework anymore. But I'm sure it would have helped. I mean, you know, I could still do it at any point.
What does that do? Why do they need that?
Well, you know, I bet it's like, oh, okay, wow, you know, I guess I spend an hour a day staring into the oblivion. Maybe I should check on that. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just a good way to like stay accountable.
Are they gonna read it and be like, and that's when you should be acting?
Oh, I see.
Act there.
No, so that's the thing. You don't turn it into them or anything. You just, it's for you.
Oh.
So act right there. You got it. You can't be making coffee.
Squeeze in acting.
Oh my god.
Class dismissed.
Yeah, they like give it back to you and it's all marked up in red ink and it's like acting. Act.
Be sad. Be happy here.
Yeah, so obviously that's not the case. But no, it's for you to be like, oh wow, that whole time I was like just picking my nose. I guess I could be doing something else, you know. So that's most of my days picking my nose. So I realized, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. No, so that's true. Because like also I actually just chatted with my friend on the phone today talking about like, oh yeah, relationships, lots of time.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's also time to be spent. Like, I review this a lot because a lot of stand-up is at night. And I think so much of, also dating somebody who has a day job, it's like, well, do I want to go, like, wait in a weird line and talk to people I don't know and then, like, maybe get up and practice and then be a better stand-up? Yeah. Or do I want to, like, come home and watch my favorite TV show with my favorite person? Yeah. Like, obviously, I'm not going to pick the first one. So, you know, I think I move a little slower as a result. But, you know, I don't know. It's not something I'm, like, down to be like, I can only do this. You know, and that's why I guess. Yeah.
It's like I'm also like really envious. Us at the office also are like really envious of like actors sometimes too, because like it's grass is always greener. But like the fact that you kind of are building your own schedule or choosing, you have this choice of like where to focus your energy to for yourself is nice. You know, like I like I'm not necessarily most of my time in like creative energy is being put towards building Wong Fu, and not necessarily like about me focused on like that's not much time is left over for that script
Got
that
it, like
script.
like your individual
Yeah.
Taylor Chan brand.
Right, which is
Brand.
still nice, you know, like a lot of the times like if I'm writing for Wong Fu it is for myself indirectly as well, which is really cool. But yeah, like the fact that you're like you have time to like take this class too. I wish I did that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they got it on the weekends.
Yeah.
If they want to, but yeah, you know, I think what's interesting about it is like, because yeah, that's a trade-off. Like, I think also too, I kind of love how it's like, oh yeah, I'm just working on me, you know, just do stand-up. Just Sierra's own thing, but like also part of it is like obviously if a show hired me to write, I would be on their doorstep. Like, I'd be like, yes please, thank you, no time for me anymore. Who's Sierra? I don't know her. You know, so
acting
you know,
class, bye bye.
Yeah, I think it's sort of like it's the default, and we're lucky that we can do that in the sense that like when it comes to, you can still call yourself a creative even if you're not fully employed by something creative, you know. So it's like, oh, I'm just working on me, you know. But yeah, but I think that is that's what I like about stand-up, I think, in particular too. So look into it, but you know, just that like you kind of get to put something out there, like a product that people can kind of get like oh, I get what you're about. You make these kind of jokes and you look like this and you sound like this, and even if it's not like the best representation of you, at least it's some sort of representation of you. I mean, I guess the same thing as like a reel of like your work, you know, but it's just in a stand-up form. So so I think that's something that I feel happy about, because also like I feel that what I hear from a lot of people who are just actors or maybe just writers or whatever, it does feel like there's a lot of waiting around for the right project to come by or somebody to be like, you're a star, and then they pluck you from your hometown and drag you to Los Angeles, California. But yeah, so can't wait for that guy. He's a weirdo. Let's be real. Hashtag me too, you know. But yeah, so all that stuff, I think, I don't know.
No, I get it.
Yeah, it's fun though.
Yeah, I think like is stand up it's most of the time when you do like open mics and stuff or like you book stuff, it's at night, right? Yeah. So it's kind of like you kind of are like compartmentalizing your day almost, like.
Yeah. It's kind of frustrating because I'd say I'd love it to be a morning thing, so I'd get out you know what I mean, or just like it would force me to wake up and have a normal schedule, and then I could hang out with friends at night. But like a lot of times it is nighttime, so you get used to that. But I don't know.
I think the other part that I envy about stand-up comedy or like what you're doing too is like if you like felt like really bad about a product or like your bit that you did or like it wasn't received well, it doesn't live forever. Like it's like you can like brush it off or like or it was only those group of people and they might not even, they won't remember it, right? Like and like you can like take it as a lesson and just move on and like work on yourself behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, you can
versus like I guess like Wong Fu, one of the downsides is like if you know, since there's such urgency to kind of consistently put out content, like if you do like rush something or you do like put something out there and it isn't your best foot forward, it's still gonna be it's there forever pretty much. Right. Like it's like that's your reputation. That's you now. You know? Oh, that's the feeling at least.
Interesting. Yeah. Wait, let's talk about that. I know. So I remember when like you had texted me about like some of the more negative feedback that was coming in for episode 2, and I felt like that was so kind, first of all, because thanks. Like, you know, you don't have to, you know, when you're feeling for other people, I feel like it says a lot about you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So thank you. And I know like, so basically, for context, it was just like, you know, a lot of YouTube comments, I feel like, at least from the stand-up perspective, like, because then I wasn't honestly, like, I didn't even notice too much. Actually, I think I had noticed because Olivia put it in her
her like
Instagram stories. So to me, I was like, oh, I guess it was bad, but I had read it and I was like, I don't know, because I like read stand-up comments and stand-up comments especially I find for, for all stand-ups who maybe aren't quite there yet or whatever, myself included, but also for like oftentimes female stand-ups, the comments are like worse than if you're just putting something actually bad on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
but
like you're being judged even harder.
People have, or like, I don't know what it is. Maybe because it's like, it's an individual person, so it's a little easier to grasp versus, like it's easier to critique an individual person rather than to critique, like, I don't know anything about film, so why would I know how, if it's a bad movie
it's
or
hard
not,
to
right?
know the source. So
Yeah,
it's like if you're gonna,
so that it's like,
some
we
people
know
don't
who
know,
it is.
no.
I don't know, but for some reason, stand-up, it elicits, like, lots of fun. And I'll get like DMs, like it's not that much anymore because I don't have anything out there really that much, but I would say it's just like the weird, and it could be good too, or it could be creepy, or it could be bad, you know, so it's all over the place. But but you guys get a lot of what's probably different feedback too, because you have a loyal fan base who also kind of has like a certain sense of like, we know what Wong Fu is better than you know what
right,
you know,
no, for sure, like
which is cool, but also
it has it. I mean, it's tough. I think like so day after college, Wong Fu's always gotten comments like that's just the nature of the internet and social media. So like we've always gotten criticism, hate comments, or sometimes, and then often like there's a lot of like constructive criticism too in the comments too. So like. But they still hurt. So I think Day After College was just my first, was the biggest project that I was at the helm of, and I was like more of a face of too. So like those comments hurt a little bit more, weighed a little bit heavier for me, because like I think there's also comments, and so like I just felt more responsible for the comments, or at least like the things that was coming in. So I definitely felt like I needed to at least address it when reach out to the actors and the writers to make sure that they knew that I positioned myself there, so that they didn't feel like alone in that.
Yeah, no, that does help. That does help.
Yeah.
Because it is the isolation. It can feel like it's all about me.
Right.
Like, I'm the only one who feels this way.
Yeah, and I know like Olivia felt like she when she saw like criticism of like the writing or like the acting or something, like it's like everyone's first instinct is to blame themselves or like question if they did anything wrong, and so I talked to Olivia about that too. So I wanted to make sure that she she felt okay, and that she knew that I was also taking the heat as well. But yeah, it was a new experience for me, like just to like kind of like communicate that to the crew and like position myself where like to respond appropriately too. Like I don't want to be the guy that's like quick to defend like every decision and be like, oh, like I knew that was bad, but I did that because of this or this or shit. I'd rather be like, like I definitely see the source or the core of what you're saying, and like I can take away some like key things to improve on, and also kind of write off like your tone or like the phrasing of that, and like get it, and like
the added relish.
Yeah.
No, that can definitely cloud things for sure. Yeah, no, that's awesome, because I think I've obviously like never I've never been in a position where it hasn't been from stand-up, I think. So I think I had, like, thinking about it, that I was like, oh, yeah, that is a great way to address it. Like, especially, like, say, or if, like, a weird critique comes out or something, and, like, that's the news of the day about that show or whatever, then it's, like, it does feel like sometimes we could all just be like, oh, well, we all saw it individually and had our own, like, individual experiences about it. But then if it's all kind of, like, a group mentality, like, we made this, and then this is what is response, and like now everybody saw it, so that's chill, like that is very helpful.
Yeah, so I
take a page out of your book, I like that.
But I know I'm sure it's completely different when dealing with stand up, and I feel like I can see that being that's so hard, just being alone in that situation, or like it's targeted at you, and there's no one else to share that hate with, necessarily. Like, and like,
who can I pass this off on? I know.
For this, that to fester.
I think what's been helpful is like I learned to not look at it, and like sometimes I'll have Dylan look at it, and then he'll at least be like, no, it was mostly positive. I'm like, all right, great. I'm going to take that.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. I only see 60%.
Yeah, that's plenty for me. So yeah, it's definitely like, I think the key is just not to look, but maybe when it comes to other things, like you do want the critique. So it's different. Like, I don't know, it depends, I guess. Because then also, for instance, like people who subscribe to a channel, I would hope that they're like fans of the channel. But then if it's just like, oh, here's like this random person who's doing stand-up, like I know that could be a little less received.
Yeah, and like that's
because they don't know me. Like it's
true.
Like, who the fuck is this girl?
Right. It's when you don't see an image or like a face to these comments, you always assume that they're like legitimate source, a little legitimate voice. But
they've
reality,
been working for the New York Times.
Yeah.
They've been curating art for centuries. Yeah, that's funny too. Yeah, oftentimes it is like it's like a child.
Yeah,
well,
child,
yeah,
or someone that just wants to be heard or like feel they have a voice in the situation. But there was also a lot of criticism just from our core fans too. So I took things as they came.
It's all over. I mean, I wonder like too, because sometimes one time it'll be like, this happens. Well, actually, I see this in general in YouTube comments, but there's a lot of YouTube comments that are like, I never comment. But
yeah,
and I'm like, oh my god, this was the thing that made you crawl out and create an account.
You're not one of those people that are just
I'm not one of these people,
looking
and
for
I
affirmation.
normally love everything, but this is the one thing I hate. And I'm like, oh no, but who knows? I'd love to look at like if that's actually true, or like every time they comment, they say that. Like, listen, I never do this. Only once every couple weeks, maybe twice a week.
Once a week, but I'm watching a lot of videos. I'm watching thousands of videos a week.
Yeah, their ratio is pretty good.
Yeah.
But so that's all
Yeah.
good. Yeah, that's a good point. It's
because I want to, it's also like, I guess when a team setting, one of the pros is that you can like kind of share and confide in each other when it comes to criticism and stuff. But I guess for me, it was hard because like, I felt like I got everyone on board this train. I'm like, hey, trust me, this is gonna be amazing. And then when the criticism came in, I was like, it's like, oh, do they think that this was not worth it?
But that's hilarious that.
Or like this is not as amazing as I promised you guys. No, it's still okay, guys. Don't get off. Or like, I hope people want to continue to get on another train, I guess, in the future.
Yeah, and I'm positive everybody does. But yeah, that's funny because I think that responsibility can feel like, oh boy, I'm selling something and it better be good. Like they take it home with them and then they find out it's broken. You know what I mean? Like that mentality is some people don't have that bone in their body. Mm-hmm. So it's like comforting that like, at least, I mean, it's kind of crippling for us, but I would imagine that like it's much better to have it than to be like, yeah, everything's great. What? Oh, I didn't know. I sold you a broken car, that sort of stuff. So yeah, interesting. But all that stuff, yeah. I mean, because also part of us is like, oh, well, we don't want to not take the criticism because that's part of growing and part of learning. But the other thing too is like, I think YouTube comments are a certain beast, as we said. So it is funny to think like, oh yeah, I guess like a lot of, like most things that people put out there for like centuries right now, just kidding, just like for most of mainstream media and stuff, like didn't even get that immediate voice of the populace, and then now like this is the one medium where you can literally get immediate feedback from anybody who has a computer, so that's like cool, but also can be very different than a typical critique.
I was talking to Olivia too. I was like, man, if this was on Netflix, like we wouldn't know anything about this.
You wouldn't know how many people saw it. You wouldn't know.
Yeah, it'd be like, oh, it got these amount of views, and I guess it's doing all right. And maybe like you'll see from how people share it, but like there's like a ton of terrible movies on Netflix that if they had a comment section, it would be ruined.
Yeah, those people would not be returning anytime soon. No, but yeah, I agree that like that it's smart that they don't have that, because I think I like to scroll down to comments and read it just to be like, did anybody catch that thing that I just saw? So it can influence the way you consume something. If you see everybody either loving it and you're like, oh, I didn't even think I'd love it, but I guess everybody else is, so maybe I should. It's like nobody has their own opinion sometimes. But separately, they got rid of their rating system. Did you know that?
Oh, the thumbs up and thumbs down. Yeah. There were stars at one point too.
Stars too, yeah, because I think it was because Amy Schumer had a special out and like all these, like, I think it was mainly Reddit or something, kind of like MRA folk.
They hate Amy
They
Schumer.
all like they kind of banded together to like downvote it, and it was like very clear because there was like subreddits about it, and then she like posted this long thing about that being kind of shitty, obviously, and it hurting her her work and the way that she makes money, which is doing stand up. And then Netflix like actually got rid of the rating system because I think it's like once it's like a weird group organizing to do that, then it doesn't really count anymore.
Right? Yeah. There's a ton of YouTube videos too. It's like, we're here to thumbs it down. Who else is here? Who else is here from that part?
Oh no, yeah.
And like we're doing it, guys. They're like in the comments still like, hey, it's working. Look at the bar.
We brought it down. It's like in Finding Nemo when they all swim down.
Oh yeah.
Swim down.
Swim. Oh, good reference.
Yeah. Except that was more empowering. This is a little sad. But yeah, that's the internet, guys. It's a big old fish bowl.
And it's that's been the constant struggle for Wong Fu, is like trying to like stay true to who we are, while also kind of trying to grow too, without pandering. Or trying to be mindful about that too, because there's a fine line.
Yeah, that's a lot of factors that's hard to do. But yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
All the things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're kind of reaching the end here. But I normally ask like, any quick tips and fixes on having a good old happy life.
Oh, because stay positive.
Stay positive.
Oh, man, I don't have enough life experience to give advice.
You better start watching more TV.
Yeah, man, no, that's a good question.
I don't know, or anything you do, or like, well, for instance, because I said the word happy life, I'll give a little example. A friend who was just on gave some like Instagram handles of dogs and animals she likes to follow and scroll through. And I just followed one called Tori_Palm_Happy Life, one word.
Yeah.
And it's a pug and a Shiba who are brothers. And there's a baby who's also, I guess, their brother.
Yeah.
And it's just them.
Instagram.
In every photo. Yeah, Tori Palm Happy Life. What a funny, cute handle, too, right?
Yeah.
To just be like, happy life.
Yeah. Follow them. Every post.
Yeah, give them a little follow.
Boost of joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I feel like what my realization in life is, like, even like, I'm gonna continue chasing this dream of this creative, this filmmaker dream and this filmmaker life, but I always, at the back of my head, I always know that like it's always gonna be about people, in my life, or like that need to like, that will always be priority number one, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that be family, friends, or like a significant other. Always knowing that they'd be there, so as a source of support, but also making an active effort to kind of be there for them, And I feel like as long as that's kind of there as a foundation, like it doesn't really matter to me how far this filmmaking career goes.
Cool.
But that at least that gives me like the sanity to kind of keep moving forward. It's like I know that I'm still satisfying that mission or that value every day, or trying to. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah. That makes sense. Because that is, very cool. And important to like have that anchor, and then everything else is bonus.
Right.
In a way. That's cool. Yeah. Cool. You feel happy about everything we talked about?
I do.
Anything else you want to cover?
I don't know. Was this okay? This is my first podcast, if you couldn't tell.
Of outside of just being a guest, coming out into the world.
Yeah, I mean, like as the spotlight guest, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the only thing is lunch break.
Lunch
break is a talk show that I do with like 3 other people, where
Yummy
like
foods,
it's a little bit easier because like all I have to do if I'm not talking, I can just insert myself as like a quip, every once in a while.
Got it.
But this is like.
Yeah, this is like, what do you have to say,
level,
Taylor
yeah.
Jan?
So this has been quite the experience.
Yeah,
I'm very
yeah. I mean,
flattered to be a part of
it's
this.
cash. Oh, I'm so happy you made time to come on. You know what I mean? I appreciate it a lot because I know it's a chunk out of your Sunday night.
No, it was fun. I
So
think it's like
thanks.
it's cool to like sit down with you and get to know you better too.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like we've never talked this long, you and I.
I know. I mean, this is the fun part because then I get to like have these conversations. You can have them over coffee, but sometimes it's like a little different. You know, we have like a mission here. You know?
Yeah.
It's like we're making content, but it's also like I just want to talk with people I want to
Yeah,
talk with.
yeah.
You know.
And it's great. You know, I think like you've had like a lot of great episodes too, and like it's going
Yeah.
strong. And
Yeah, hopefully keep it going. I don't know. It's one of
yeah.
those things too where I'm like, whew, how many more do I have to do? But yeah, no, it's fun. It's always, I don't regret it.
Yeah.
The train is moving. But yay. Well, thank you, Taylor. Anything, well, obviously they should check out Wong Fu, Dating After College. Anything else you're like coming up or want to plug?
No, just follow both our channels, Wong Fu Productions and More Wong Fu. We have a lot more content coming out, and hopefully new series coming out as well. So be on the lookout.
You heard it here.
Follow me on Instagram.
Yeah. What's your Instagram handle?
It's Chanman325, and I'm thinking about changing it. But for now, it's
So, yeah.
Chanman325.
Okay. Yeah, you'll be tagged.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, Sierra.
Adios.